The English language. Yeah. No. I don't know. 1 minute. 1 minute till. Look at you go. That's as far as the best I can do, I think. We're live. Not great setup. I used to get in trouble in his class, dude. I haven't seen him yet. It's either working or it's not. Those are the two options. Hey, there's a delay. I just flicked it at you on live camera. I didn't flinch. You didn't. All right. Oh, yeah. Be nice.
Call the meeting in order. Commissioners, please rise. Rise for prayer.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And we pray this evening, O Lord God, we come before you in prayer, acknowledging the blessings of government and administration. You are a God of order and have blessed us with the establishment of governing officials to provide civil harmony and concord. Be with us in this meeting and give us strength and wisdom to pursue goals which please you. Grant us the courage to support those things which are right and according to your ordinances. For we ask it in Christ's name. Amen.
Amen.
Yeah.
Bellini,
Present.
Ritzky,
Here.
Hughes,
Here.
Libby,
Here.
Crook.
Here.
All present. Approval of the agenda. Conditions and conditions.
I'd like to bring up, under unfinished business, Robert Ransom. And, offer of employment for, building official. Building inspector.
Number 5.
Unfinished business number 1.
What's Robert's last name?
Ransom, Ransom.
Thank you.
You can wait till then. You can wait till then.
Number 5. New business.
We don't have 1, 2, or 3.
Yeah, no, all 5 need to be added.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Yep.
Oh, geez.
Number 1.
I thought you had it down. Number 1, 2025 equalization report. Number 2. Budget amendment,
Registered deeds.
register of deeds office. Number 3. Payment request, airport manager. Going too fast.
Yeah, a little bit. Okay, I'm good.
Number 4. Change standing committing timings. For the grounds. That's number 4.
Yeah.
Number 5. Would be. Waiving permit fees for the storm victims.
And then we have the status of vendor diversion grant update from the judge.
Oh, number 6. Status. Diversion grant update from Judge Gilner. Anything else?
Status of what for number 6? Status of what? Number 6, status of
Diversion grant,
version grant.
Judge Gildner.
Update.
I'll make a motion, we approve the agenda with amendments.
Second. Motion to approve the amended agenda. You got a second?
Yeah.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed. Motion carried. Conflict disclosure. Do we have a conflict with anything on the agenda?
Nope.
Hearing none, we'll move on to the minutes of the meeting of March 28th. Chance to read them.
Yeah, we just got these.
I find no errors in it, unless you guys do. Pretty short.
I'll make a motion, we adopt the minutes for the meeting of March 28th, 2025 as printed.
I support. Have a motion support to adopt the minutes.
What do we got for support?
Mr. Presque.
Yeah.
All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed. Motion carried. Claims audit. Let's go through the claims audit.
No.
Anything jumps out to you?
How many of the 1010 technology stuff is reoccurring and how many are just as they pop up problems?
Tech problems.
Like VoIP, I understand. Is that what we
Page
pay
you're
per
on?
month kind of thing?
Page.
Very first page.
First ones.
Presque Sheriff's Department VoIP.
Everyone's a different department.
Right. This is what we're paying for phones and technology for every department. Is this a monthly thing?
And service on it.
Okay.
And 10 takes care of everything.
Yep.
Yes.
For now.
I had one other.
Pretty good gig.
Is there anything else? Payment to Michigan State University. Extension, 23,000.
That are quarterly.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Quarterly payment.
Mhm.
And the only thing else we added to it was the treasurer's surety bond. Came in after the right for this meeting, we had to add it at the end, $5,377 for the treasurer's surety bond. Brings a total of $96,794.42. And that at the end there.
I make a motion, we pay the claims audit in the amount of
96.
96,000.
Hang on.
I should have got that before you put it away. Sorry. You did the math on it.
$96,794.42. Second. They have a motion for it, pay the claims audit. Please claims audit. Roll call vote.
Bellini,
Yes.
Britsky,
Yes.
Hughes,
Yes,
Libby,
Yes.
Brooke.
Yes. Motion carried. Citizens appearing before the board. In the back there, sir.
I hate to complain, but.
Can I get your name for the record, sir? Can we get your name, please?
John Amber, I live on Beach Road. Could you guys speak a little louder?
A little bit louder.
Yeah, it's difficult to hear you back here.
I apologize.
That's all right.
That's gonna be tough for me to do. I can't speak real loud.
Yeah.
Rachel? Cameron? Rachel Goodsky.
good evening, everyone. My name is Rachel Glenstein. I reside at 126 South First Street in Rapid City. And I also own a 50 acres of property which I kept up here since the early 60s on rental and I have a number of items, but they'll all be pretty short. You know, years ago with the prior board, et cetera, citizens came and asked to have an evening meeting, and we actually asked for two things. An evening meeting, which happened, and we're grateful for, and you can see actually a lot of people come. The other thing we asked about or wanted was for the minutes to be printed. For our, let's put it this way, our tax dollars to be used by you to print the minutes in the local paper. That used to happen, then it stopped. And so this is just a request for you to think about that, think about it when you're doing your budget year. Not only does it inform people, but it also helps support the local business, the press, which is supported by the communities. Also, John already asked if you would speak louder because it's hard to hear. This was sort of a concern that came up to me today. I like robust meetings, but there are like 5 or 6 items on this agenda, which all sound important and substantive. But if you were a person who walked by and looked out the door, they wouldn't have been on it. So I don't know I don't know if anything about, frankly, about the rules about when things are supposed to be, you know, so that the public knows what is on the thing to come. You know, I don't know what the rules are, but somehow, it's like 6 things and they all seem important. I mean, all the things that happen in government are important, but anyway. The other thing that's important to me that I don't think is one of those things, is I it's both a request and I would like to know when this body and how you are going to handle having a complete review of the electrical emergency, the response, the preparedness, and all of that, because I'd like to know when that's going to happen, because I would like to submit a report on my experience as an accidental volunteer doing a whole lot of work that, but for circumstances, I wouldn't have been there, but for circumstances having nothing to do with an official plan, there were a number of people who did things that should have been part of the plan. I'll leave it at that because I haven't read my whole report, but I think there ought to, it is a huge event that happened, multidimensional, and yes, it looked like a Hallmark movie with people coming together, but that is not how emergency preparedness and management is supposed to happen. And I can speak to that personal experience over the 5 days. And so I suggest that there be a full public, whether you call it a workshop, how you do that, whatever the law requires. That's what I'm asking for, but also saying that there must be. And with that, I think I may be getting close to 3 minutes, which in Chicago, which is where I used to live, is the max. So not to overstay my welcome.
Thank you. Sir?
Go ahead, you're first, I couldn't see.
Good evening. I'm Connie Kreinick, from Up North Prevention, Catholic Human Services. I just have some information for you from our group, and I just kind of want to focus on the things that we're doing in the community. I'm the prevention specialist for Presque County. And if I can, I have the packets for you, if you want to look at just at your leisure.
Did you get that down?
Touch base on some of the things that we do in Presque County. I work with the county schools. That's a huge thing that I cover within my position. I'm here today just to give you a brief description, and that's in the packet that I gave you, of some of the things that we cover within the county. Education and outreach, program development, implementation, community engagement, data and collection, collaboration and coordination, advocacy. And then the areas of focus and collaboration are substance abuse and prevention, mental health, nonprofit organizations, government agencies, local law enforcement, Presque County Coalition. And then naloxone distribution box locations, newly funeral homes, for the tour bag, disbursement. And then where I work is in the schools, nonprofit organizations, community and senior centers, and government agencies. So part of that, that we're doing, which, takes funding, and with just different cuts, we're also looking at some of the settlement dollars from the opioid settlement. And recently we've had, with Mayor Scott McLennan and then Judge Gildner, and also Mayor Shaw, we've had quite a few meetings just with Donna Hardees, myself, and Mayor Scott McLennan. With that, we formed a group that focuses on substance misuse. And Judge Gildner is now part of that, which we're grateful for. I'm not sure if you wanted to say a few words on that at all, or. Just
I'll
from
let
what
you take
Okay,
the light right now.
okay. So, like I said, Judge Gildner is involved in that, and, in your packet, it does state what our whole purpose is and, what we're looking to accomplish for Presque County, so. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next. Someone stand up, Wayne. Wayne Vance Heights, I live in Presque Harbor Association,
Lance Heights,
HEITV.
thank you.
And what I'm concerned about is the Lake Esau issue. I think that the county and the state, if they had regulatory issue and establishing a normal level of Lake Esau at 597 feet. And since the condition of the lake right now is not really a natural lake. So I'm a lip of a quarry, I think it's what, 1,400 yards away. The pore or the lake is leaking. It has no natural source of water. It's continuously draining in an uncontrolled and ever expanding manner, involving a great deal of water. And I think this legislation is misapplied in this situation. What I would like to see is somebody put together a committee or a panel or a group of lake owners, Presque Harbor people, Rogers City, or Presque County people, and look at this issue and get some facts and pull it together. I think we need to manage it locally and as a group, not defined by some state legislative act. And I'm recommending that we pursue that directly and put this together and let our own people decide what's going on there with Lake Esau. We come up with a rational decision. If I follow through with the logic of the state legislation, it's going to go way beyond anything we can handle. We need to know what's going on, and we want to have direct inputs on how it's being managed. So I guess I'm going to leave it up to you guys where we go with this. I'm looking for some direction and some feel or some feedback. But to let it go like it is now, it's not going to benefit any of us. It's out of control.
Well, our drain commissioner's not here to explain to you.
Well, I know he's the man we're supposed to talk to.
Yeah.
Thought he was going to be here tonight.
I was hoping.
Yeah,
Yeah.
me too. This is situation's being worked on right now, but
No, I understand.
we're hoping for him to be here to, he's more in touch with the, law firm and the engineering firm. And we're trying to get that ironed out. And, we're just gonna have to get him here pretty soon to speak to us. We'd like to know too. So
Okay.
can't really give you an answer right now.
You can't give him the number to call him though.
You probably have his number, don't you?
His number?
Yeah.
That's what the problem is. There's several people here from my neighborhood. I see them and they all claim they're not getting any response back. That's right. So that's why I was hoping he would show up tonight. I've talked to various people and keep saying, see the drain commissioner, so I'm expecting him to be here this evening. So was I. Disappointed he's not. But that's the condition of the way I see where we're at and.
I think with the current circumstances, I think he planned on being here. We're all facing challenges right now, so I apologize that he's not, but.
When I know for sure he's coming, I'll make sure to get word to everybody in our neighborhood. Okay. Okay. I thought he was coming tonight, so I told several. So I didn't find out till I got here either. Open issue that needs some direction. So when I know for sure he's coming, I'll call him as well, but I'll make sure you all know, okay?
Mentioned it to him.
All right, thank you.
I don't know what came up. Wayne?
Well, no, go ahead. These people can go. That door should be open, Mr. Chair.
Not for security reasons. We had an
I'm
incident.
Mark Kinney. I live at the Presque Association as well, 5571 Timberway Drive. I'm concerned about the special assessment districts, and I'm concerned about fairness in doing so. And I hope that you will make sure that you consider heavily the following points that I want to make, and there really are three. One is that I think it's important to consider that lakefront property owners are the ones that primarily benefit from lake levels. There are other reasons why people have an attachment to it, but it's the lakefront individuals who really benefit. And so I think it's like in the association that I'm a part of, that really comes to bear. I mean, the numbers that I remember from the meeting that was held in January is, the number thrown out was that a lakefront owner would pay 100% of the assessment, and an association member who was not lakefront would pay perhaps 50%. But that's nowhere near appropriate in terms of the relative benefits.
As I recall,
Benefits from owning the property, from being there on site all of the time, of being able to make changes to your property as you wish to. None of that accrues to me as one member of the association. And I do benefit. I mean, I swim in Lake Esau very often. And I have very great positive comments from people around the lake who see me swim and we stop and talk and whatever. But I'm a very unusual association member.
as I recall, that is an example of how an assessment
I
district,
understand.
not what is being proposed or finalized at all.
Yes, and I'm saying to you, all I'm interested in is fairness.
Yes, sir.
I mean, we need to be assessed some part of it.
Mhm.
For me personally, I think the way that's appropriate is the association is assessed, not the individuals of the association. Let the association describe to their members, this is how much we have to charge you in order to cover our assessment for it. And then you've not caused any of the difficulty of trying to make a relative call.
Mhm.
Okay, I do have a concern, I think Lance mentioned it as well, that I'm not sure it's appropriate that the state has established that this is an appropriate body of water to treat at all. It's not really, as I understand it, a lake. And if it isn't a real lake, why is the state involved in this at all? Let the homeowners handle this issue. And
That's
perhaps,
to be determined in the court.
yeah, exactly. And I hope that you are mindful of that and are pursuing those questions. That's why I'm standing here. It's not to argue with anything. It's just to say,
Yeah.
that's the way it is. So thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate the chance to talk, and I'm open to suggestions as well.
Thank you. Wayne?
Anyone else?
Go ahead.
Good evening. You know, Mother Nature has a stern sense of justice. Again, generally, I would never challenge your faith out there. But when you bring it in here, it's fair game. Doesn't belong in here. And I've spoken to it before. So you need to, are you aware that King James was an open homosexual? Okay, he was openly homosexual for you homophobes. And if you are a member of any of these aftermarket churches or religions, you need to understand that the Catholic Church was the church that Jesus found with John on this rock. And if you're a confirmed Catholic, then you believe in your heart of hearts that the Catholic Church is the only way to heaven. And if you are a member of an aftermarket religion, then when you die, you don't go to heaven. You go to purgatory, which is halfway between heaven and hell. And you don't get to go to heaven until you've converted to Catholicism. Now, that's what the Catholic Church preaches. And I don't know how many of you are Catholics or Protestants, but that sounds kind of crazy, doesn't it? Mr. Presque, isn't that crazy?
I don't believe what you just said, but.
That's what the Catholic Church preaches.
Well, that might
And
be the
that is
case, but
in
I'm
order-
not Catholic, so I can't
This
really
is
speak
then-
with expertise
Okay,
about that issue.
Okay, well, then you will go to purgatory then until
Well,
you
you
convert
could
to
claim that,
Catholicism.
sir.
Well, no, that's what the Catholic Church
Okay,
preaches,
so
and that's why it doesn't
That's not
belong
open
in
for
here.
debate.
Now, let me move on to what I'd really like to speak to. For some background, when I was on the board here years and years ago, the dispatchers and the corrections officers over here were part-time employees without benefits. I worked hard with, you can talk to Renee, Mike Rogers, Lois Klein, some of those people, Mike's dead now, and so is Lois, actually. But I worked hard to get those people full-time employees with benefits. I spent hours over there with them at night, watching them field the call and doing their work, central dispatch. I was involved in setting up the 911 program here, getting the money through the phone service to get a 911 dispatch system set up here, bucking heads with the people sitting on this board at the time. So I have some background. I was chairman of our ambulance board during the process of upgrading to the ALS ambulance service, so I'm very familiar with EMS and how this all works. The reason I bring this up, and it wasn't reported by the emergency services coordinator, and I'm not sure if she was aware of it or if it was brought to her attention, but a citizen approached me that this person had called 911 for an ambulance. And it was the evening of the incident out in Akiak. And the dispatcher told this person on the phone that they couldn't dispatch an ambulance because they were all in use at Akiak. Now, that does not happen. Okay, if you call 911 for an ambulance, it bumps, and with 8 minutes, an ambulance is on they're supposed to be within 8 minutes on site. But if we have mutual aid agreements with all of these ambulance services, and if every ambulance in the mutual aid was out at Akiak, then there's a problem with the system. Because this woman ended up transporting herself to the hospital and had an emergency appendectomy and damn near died. All right, so I don't know where your emergency services coordinator is. I suggested to this woman that she contact, what's her name, Sarah? Is that her first name, Sarah?
Melching.
Melching? I suggested she contact her and take it there. And Sarah was at this last meeting and didn't bring it up. I don't know if she's here this evening or not. It doesn't matter. But you people need to be aware that my understanding is that a dispatcher told person who called 911 that there was not an ambulance available because they were all in use at Akiak, and that does not happen. Okay, we have mutual aid with Alpena, Sheboygan, Petoskey. There are ambulances from everywhere that can come here if they need to be. And if they were all out there, that's a serious problem. Okay,
Thank you.
Merry Christmas.
Sarah Melching. I'm a resident of Presque Township. I am also the Presque County Emergency Services Coordinator. So I just want to quickly address Wayne. I do not supervise any departments here in the county, so that is actually not my role, but you can follow up with the supervisor of that department. First of all, I want to say thank you to everyone. It's been a long couple weeks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We had activated all of our emergency plans that are up to date and very robust here in the county. Cliff was on top of our local declaration for this incident as well as the state declaration. We have been following our plans to the T. And I can't be more proud of all the communities that have come together because that's what happens in a disaster. We activate our plans, we follow the plans, and our communities come together. So from Rogers City to Presque to Hawks to Onaway, I have to say these people in these communities have come together to help assist because we can't do it alone. I am a one-person department. I am 30 hours a week. And I will have to say, we did one hell of a job as a team here in Presque County. Within the 12 counties that have been involved in this incident, I'm proud to say that Presque County is 2 days ahead of all the other 12 counties as far as recovery. We are not to recover yet because we have a number of people still without power, so we have not begun that process. But we are making huge gains. We've learned a ton, and we will implement more processes from what we've learned. But I want to say our county and our residents are in safe hands. And I'm very proud of everybody that put forth from the EMS, dispatch, fire, law, our county commissioners. It has been a great, but not so great 2 weeks. But we are definitely prepared. Who would have ever thought being without electricity, power, internet, any communications, and we are where we are today. So again, thank you. And we did have some implications with our emergency operations center. Just so you all know, it was 4 days until we were able to get power in our emergency operations center, which obviously delayed a lot of things. So we were able to carry out the plans, but it just took us a little bit longer to do some of the things because we were kind of displaced for a while. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Get some sleep.
I will dispute that. I will. dispute that.
Order.
Order. I would like my last 2 minutes since you give people 5 minutes, because I think the public needs to know then what happened.
45 seconds left.
You got about 45 seconds left. You want to?
All right.
I-
I already went out to go to that senior center. I knew the senior center was in the emergency plan because I helped them raise $200,000 last summer. The only reason I went there is I was charging my phone in my car. And I thought I would go look. I got there. It had a sign that said, "Go to the fire hall." People in this town think there are two. Didn't have the address. It only got a sign with the address when I went back there later that day to do it because I spent my day at that fire hall, which was not at all set up. There were about 3 people there who took charge. I saw you there maybe once or twice. And it was because Deb Green came back and she's a volunteer with the Red Cross that the cots started to move. And if it wasn't for that grocery store, I don't know who would have provided the food for all the people. Yes, people with their freezers defrosting brought stuff. I brought stuff. But it could not be, it's not a plan if you are basing it on the fact that people like me and a couple other people accidentally showed up there. One woman showed up there because she wanted to charge something.
That's time.
So this is not true. It's a nice peaceful way to keep your job going.
Anyone else?
Unfinished business. No, you're under unfinished business, which is next on the agenda, so don't move.
Okay, you're not just on main.
We might as well stand here. We might as well just stand there.
Oh,
Don't move.
Unfinished business.
This is Robert Ransom. Rob and I interviewed him, as did our building official. And at last meeting, we approved a letter of offer to be forwarded to the finance committee, which has approved that, as I'm aware. And I want to first introduce Rob. Rob comes with us with a very extensive background, has passed the Michigan Building Officials Test, and we'll be getting the rest of those in order in the next few weeks. And I'm embarrassed to say that your letter will probably be tomorrow morning. So we've talked about the parameters of such, you and I have. So, you any comment to make either?
No, just that. I think the county be in good hands with Rob, and he just gotta get through the differences between Ohio codes and ours, but he
Yep.
does have all those ICC certifications. And-
Yep.
And, myself, Tony, the inspector, we're willing to hang out for a little while and help,
Yep.
get him up to speed whenever he shows up. Provided he passes the psychological evaluation. That might be hard this week.
And for our benefit, if you wouldn't mind, tell us, your local ties and the things we've talked about, because not everyone.
Born in Onaway, I went to Onaway until my junior year, where my folks decided we needed to move out west. Lived in Vegas for 17 years, which is where I got into the trades. Got about 30 years roughly in the trades. So I don't just come with book experience, I have real world, that's what we deal with out there, is the reality of it. During that 30 years, everything from structural, concrete to fine finish, project management, customer service, and a lot of water mitigation, fire restoration, mold remediation, dealing with insurance companies, all that fun stuff. Recently relocated back to Northern Michigan this past weekend. Got a nice welcome home present.
You did.
I had plenty of firewood to burn all summer. If
You
anybody
brought it
wants to
with
come
you.
over.
You brought it with you.
As Joe said, I recently did go to the testing center in Dearborn about 2 weeks ago, passed my building official exam. They immediately issued my license within 24 hours, first time on a Sunday I've ever gotten one. I'll be going to Gaylord tomorrow with Don to attend the code update training that they're putting on down there for about 6 hours, so ready to go for the new code at the end of the month. And over the last 3 years, I've been the building inspector, building official, plan reviewer from the city of Bedford in Ohio. The only building inspector for about 14,000 residents, all permit inspections, all municipality ordinances, up to and including becoming the grass police. So We don't have that. that's good. I can do that. Just looking forward to coming on board, coming back home. I need to spend some time around my family because they're getting older, things are going on, so looking for a good start to end my career.
Happy you're here.
I got one question.
Yes, sir.
Do you have any experience in soil and sediment erosion?
I am actually the floodplain manager, for the municipality that I worked at in Ohio.
That's different though, because
Been through a lot of the DNR classes down there, but like I told Joe when we talked, I said, I'll take whatever classes I have to take, I'll go take whatever tests I have to take.
Rob will be, the minute he's officially sitting across the street, he will become the new floodplain manager for Presque County. The only difference is, you won't have to deal with, we're not in team.
Okay.
I mean, I know that seems unusual for you.
Right.
No, that's that soil erosion is that totally different thing, those two other tests that you can do. I mean, that's between you and him, whether, he eventually takes.
Whether you have the time.
Right? That's it. Probably not until like December or January. I'm excited to become part of the team.
Good.
And
Good.
looking forward to maybe bringing some of my thoughts and processes to the table, and we can make some changes, kind of make it a better system.
Good.
Very good.
Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for attending.
Thank you.
New business.
Yes.
State equalization report.
Hi, Dave.
David.
Good evening. I'd like to present the 25 equalization report for Presque County. This report includes the state equalized and assessed values for each township and city in the county. The equalized value is assessed equalized value for the county for 2025 is $1,495,616,000. That's up 17.7% from last year. The SEV for real property is $1,300,000 $58,375,000, up 11.87% from last year. And the personal property is $157,240,000. That's up 143% from last year, and that's because of the utility personal properties, the solar.
Yeah.
And the, power lines, that the steel power lines that you put in. In agricultural, we got $102,867,000, up 2.9%. Commercial was at $40,579,000, up 10.79%. Industrial is $27,725,000, up 6.83%, and residential is $1,045,993,000, up 12.9%. There are no factors in any of the townships or cities this year, and there are two special act parcels in Roger City at $341,000. And these totals include the veterans exemptions, which is about $9,313,000 this year in veterans exemptions we have. And the estimated taxable value for the county this year is $1,020,388,000, up 14.32% from last year. Is there any questions?
Anything so.
Mhm.
That plant, that solar plant, did it include any of the infrastructure, increase to the infrastructure for the the source?
Yeah, the solar is about $62 million, I think, so far.
And that's personal property?
It's in personal property.
Yes, sir. Yep. And the basic property that it sits on did not change
No,
necessarily.
It's just the personal property, it's the actual.
Exactly.
solar stuff.
Yep.
Yeah,
I wanted people to be aware that
yeah,
that's the difference.
Yep.
It's getting taxed, but it's under personal property. Okay. Thank you.
Was there an increase in the transmission line too?
yeah,
When they
yeah,
upgraded it.
I mean, all the townships had pretty big increases in personal property.
They put all new,
utility
new
because of
poles,
that.
all new wire too.
Yeah.
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 All right.
I ended up with some poles at Talks ball field.
Any other questions, for Dave?
No, thank you.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Budget amendment. Register of Deeds Office.
Days, you do motion to file
Oh, it files report, yeah,
and have you signed it?
yeah. You need a motion to file. the
Right.
report.
I make a motion, we,
Equalization.
right, I make a motion, we adopt the equalization report, commissioner to sign it and have it filed.
Receive it, file.
Second.
Receive and file second.
Yep.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed. Motion carried. This thing here, 2-0. Budget amendment, Register of Deeds Office.
Yeah, this is under the OS in your packet.
Where's that at?
Right behind,
Behind the stapled batch. All of your.
She didn't go up.
good night.
She needs to amend her budget because you're not taking payment. The new system's not taking payment monthly, you have to pay it all up front at once.
So technically, this is, yeah, and it's not a increase, but it's just gonna get paid all at once versus every month or every quarter.
Well, there's a slight increase, it's a different company.
Therefore, the budget
But we're
amendment.
looking at $17,040.
I so move.
Support. It's all, we have motion and support. To approve that. We went through finance and she explained everything, so. I
Okay.
think she. Yeah. We need a roll call vote on that.
Pritzky,
Yes.
Hughes,
Yes.
Libby,
Yes.
Brooke,
Yes.
Lehman.
Yes. Okay. Payment requests. Airport. Airport manager.
No, I don't see him.
What do you turn?
Airport manager.
Well, no, Al.
Noel.
Well, he ain't here to present them. We presented it to finance count, but he wants to turn in overtime for where he worked, but he's only on a 28-hour week.
What did finance say?
Well, what the previous board told him, you gotta keep it to 28 hours.
Yeah.
There's no overtime in the job, but he is working.
And he claims there's, well, because we had more snow this year.
More plowing.
There was.
How many hours did you got it in front of you?
Yeah.
It's like,
What?
Budgeting 112 and he put in 145. He's asking for 33 hours at his regular rate, because technically he wouldn't be on over 40 in any of those pay periods. So,
totals 1344.
yeah.
They put a lot of time in there.
What do you think?
You were on the finance committee. What was the finance committee's recommendation?
Didn't really recommend anything. Still kind of.
Just took the report.
He had to move the snow also.
And if he did the work,
Compensate him
you
for
should
it.
pay him.
I agree with it. So what's he supposed to do at the end of 28 hours? Just stop.
Right. So make the motion.
Making a
Just
motion.
remind them that we try to keep it to 28 hours. Their motion to approve the $1,300.
I motion that we approve.
$1,344.
No, that's the year hours.
So he's looking for 720.03,
The
isn't he?
dollar amount is 720.
$720.
On 3 cents. $720, 3 cents. I'll second.
Any discussion?
Anything we can do in the future to.
Just tell them to keep it to 28 hours.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's kind of hard when it snows.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you can't exactly just stop and say,
Exactly.
okay, I'm not gonna do anymore and reach my 28 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a roll call vote.
He had 2 flat tires on the tractor too, and I had to help him find a tire for it on the rear. And he had to haul it over to Benny's because Ron wouldn't come out and put it on right here, so. No more discussion?
No.
All vote on that.
Hughes,
Yes.
Libby,
Yes.
Brooke. Yes. Laney,
Yes.
Pritzky.
Yes. Okay. Number 4, changing the standing committee times for the courthouse and grounds is conflicting with.
Good job.
What's it conflicting with?
I
Finance.
brought the committee appointments here, so. Currently, public health and safety and courthouse and grounds, that was just combined with airports and parks, are both. They were scheduled Tuesday immediately preceding the last meeting. And they were previously done because it was the same people on the committees, but now there's different people on them. It creates an issue where there's a full quorum here, so.
Right.
Since 2008, I think. They're the same people on the committee and they just had the meeting right after it. And now we're getting a conflict now. Where there's a quorum present,
Right.
so we want to separate them.
However you do it is gonna be fine with me.
Where's the other courthouse, bro? You're on.
Robin.
She's okay with that.
Yep, I'm good with it.
Motion though.
So, well, you gotta figure out when you want it then, and Commissioner Hughes is the common. Denominator on the 2, so it
It
could
can't-
even still be during the same day, but I'd recommend separating them at least by a couple hours, so they don't flop over.
Do you guys want them the same day, just hours apart?
I think that would be good, yeah.
She lives in town and I'm only on one of them, so it's all
Will
good.
it conflict with any of the other committees you're on?
Mm-mm.
Nope, I'm on. So,
So when do you want to move it to?
Just a couple hours difference.
Currently, the building and grounds is immediately following
When's that end?
Tuesday prior to the last Friday.
Tuesday prior to the last
I know,
Friday.
but when does your meeting typically, how long does it typically last?
Hour.
8:30, we meet at about an hour. That's public health and safety. But we've been conflicting.
Yes, we've been conflicted.
So about an hour, okay?
Yeah.
Starts at 10,
8:30.
8:30, so if you set a second one at 10 o'clock, you'd probably be fine.
I agree.
Yes,
I
agree
with
that.
So keep building and grounds at 8:30.
Well, we
You
need a
mean
motion
courthouse
to
and
that
grounds?
effect.
And then
We
move,
want to move public health safety to 10 o'clock, then is that what you're
Yes.
saying?
yeah, you
It's
good
all
with
right with
that?
me.
Okay,
We
I'll
need a
make that
To
motion.
that effect,
I'll make that
with that
motion
language.
with that language.
I'll support that motion.
And that's to move public health and safety to 10 a.m.
Yes.
On the same day.
That's really the bulk of it, yep.
All right.
The building and grounds usually doesn't last that long, then.
About an hour, sometimes an hour and a half, but really not. It's all good.
We got a motion support, any more discussion? Change. Same day, different times.
Mhm.
All in favor,
Yeah.
signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Number 5.
Permit fee. Permit fee.
Number 5's on the bottom, that's 6.
Yeah,
What do you got for 5? I ain't got it.
waiving the permit fee.
Permit fees.
There's been discussion of,
Without disaster.
yeah, there's been discussion with our building official regarding what other counties are doing, what we could be doing to help. And I brought up waiving the permit fee for storm damage repairs for electrical, because there's a lot of that. And then I also talked to our electrical inspector. He was in agreement that we should do something. And what I suggested is we waive the permit fee in its entirety. And then charge if an inspection is required. And then do the normal split that way. And I think Mr. Moran was okay with that.
Yes.
Okay,
The only other thing I brought up was reducing both 50%.
right.
It's essentially the same thing.
I think it's a little more convoluted when it comes to paperwork though.
Well, we have to issue a permit.
Yes,
Whether fees, that's all you
You
get.
have to go.
But the other thing is, once we do a permit, more than likely, we're gonna have to.
Well, you have to inspect it.
I understand
They're not gonna hook it
So-
up unless you do it.
So it'll be a little bit of work, but we'll figure it out. I mean, John, when he goes there to do the inspection, he's gonna know if it's legit. You know,
Yeah.
if it should have been a regular, a regular service permit, because we're seeing all different kinds of stuff right now. We're hearing one thing on the phone, and then you go there and it's like, yeah, well, that's not.
exactly.
The guys are doing service upgrades and.
We wanna be fair.
Generators.
Fair to people that can't afford it, obviously.
Well, here's the other part is, that you and I talked about, this ought to be limited until, the storm damage or the emergency is lifted. Is that the right word? State of emergency. is
Ended.
lifted? What's that?
Declared ended. Well,
Right, and repairs are done. There ought to be an end date to this, it's just to make.
You
that
guys
point.
should set, I'm just gonna suggest, instead of going with the EDC or whatever it is, the emergency's over. Presque County's gonna know when the emergency's over, because, even people getting these things fixed,
Right,
they might not have them fixed even though the emergency's over, because there's only so many electrical contractors out there doing stuff.
and it's impossible for the electrical
But the
inspector
emergency-
to get to 1,200 of them.
The emergency's
The
not
next
gonna
3
be over
days.
until all the power's on, and for all the power to get on, services have to be repaired.
Right, and a lot of them won't get repaired, and the individual services don't necessarily get repaired, so that sublines or the, whatever other line is broken, fixed, so. Just, I think it would be purview of the board to pick a date, what do you?
Yeah, I agree, and the problem that we're running into now is that power companies are just going in and hooking up. We're
Yeah.
not gonna see probably 60% of those permits anyway,
Yeah,
because they're just going along and hooking them up. Today I went to one, a guy called, and, by the time I got there, the power company was already hooked up and gone. There's really not much to inspect, he had a mast put up, and he's not gonna pull a permit, I mean, you can
Right.
tell him he has to, but he's not, even if you give it to him free, he's probably.
Yeah,
So you're gonna have a lot of issues like that, and, I'm perfectly fine with it, I mean, I'm willing to help, the community, I mean, these people are struggling.
yeah,
A lot of them are struggling, there's no doubt about it, and the sooner we can get the power up for them, the better it's gonna be.
absolutely.
So as you inspect them, then you'll get the 80% of the inspection fee then.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever, I'm fine with whatever, I just gotta, cover my costs, cause I'm not, the other counties are salary and they're on, but, Charter Boy's running a $3 million budget, so they're just eating the whole cost of it.
Sheboygan, and they're paying overtime. The guys aren't gonna be at training with me and Rob tomorrow because he's gonna be affecting electrical services. And I talked to Bill, he's gotta pay him overtime. But they're pretty flush with cash,
Right.
which is a conversation for another day. You
Right.
got some stuff in
Right.
front of you to look at.
So let me
Thank you.
get this
No
straight.
problem.
Presque Electric, if the masses ripped off the building, they're not hooking the power up.
It's the subs. It's not all Presque Power anymore. We got Bay City Light and Power up here. We got those other guys. So those guys are
But they're
trying to get home.
There's supposed to be somebody with them.
I know, and John and I talked about that, and I said, that's Presque Power's problem.
That's not happening.
We want safety
Alright.
for the residents. That's
Alright.
our concern, Presque, Alpena Power is Alpena Power. They got their rules to follow or not follow, but. And then, just so another thing is. With some of this damage, even when John goes there's gonna be other things sometimes that you see that aren't right. And so we don't wanna beat anybody up, but we are gonna note those things. If we do an inspection, we have to do an inspection. If there's something wrong, John and I had quite a few discussions about this based on what he's seeing in the field this week. Is, we're gonna need to note that, hey, I talked to the homeowner, there's a couple of hinky things over here, you should get with the, electrician to get these fixed, and you know what, we're gonna note it in our files. And if they do it, they do it, and if they don't, they don't. But at least we protected the county. We really wanna protect the people living in.
They were informed anyway.
Pardon me?
They were informed anyway.
Keep good notes.
Well,
They
like,
recorded that they were informed.
like today, they went triple service. They completely changed the dynamics of what they can do. They can put a meter socket mask, refeed the panel under the law with no problem, getting it turned back on by electrician, and they don't have to upgrade the circuit. So they have that already, that they don't have to upgrade it if they go to that point. The problem we're seeing is guys are putting in new panels, and then it's a 3-wire feed to the sub panel, which just made that whole house illegal. Because you can't, because of grounding and bonding purposes, it has to be a 4-wire. So you create some dangers there
So
too.
there's guys that have 100 amp services and they're throwing 200 amp services in and they're using the same wires, what they're saying.
They're using the same, see, when you put a sub panel, you have to have a 4-wire, because you gotta isolate the ground. And there's a good reason for that. And when they put in a panel, if they're using the old 2-wire
That's what I'm
going to
saying.
the panel, now you're not creating that separation
Right.
between the neutrals and your ground.
Right.
Tuesday, I was at one and it was drawing an arc that far across both panels. It was just literally, the guy was freaking out, it was just sizzling it, because it was searching for the ground. And these are the kind of issues that we're gonna run into moving forward with these guys.
He must have been putting that in himself then because.
No, actually,
Not always.
no, actually,
Electrician did that?
this was an old install. This one today where the service, new service was an electrician. And actually, when I went to the wrong driveway, I passed it. And when I pulled in the driveway, the electrician was there. There was a cabin there that had power. The service was up. He was cutting Presque drop to put a new service on to try to take advantage of the fact that there's a storm. So those are the kind of issues that we're running into in
Wow.
the field.
Stay safe.
Yeah,
So
so,
what do you think? You can look at 75 and we'll keep track of it and we'll sort it out as best we can.
And we'll waive the
People
permit
get
fee.
from it.
Yeah, waive the permit fee.
Waive the permit,
repairs.
keep the inspection
for
fee at
repairs, I agree.
75.
New builds, no.
yep, I agree.
Okay, thank you.
So we need a
You're welcome.
motion to waive the permit fee for damage services
During
Storm
storm
repairs.
repair, yep.
during storm repair and the inspection fee remains the same.
Remains.
So then say it like this, well, if you don't mind, say. Permit fees for services damaged during the storm will be at a reduced rate of $75. Because that's really what it's gonna be, and then he's gonna get.
Well, then we're just reducing the permit fees with that motion.
Well,
You
yeah,
wanna just. Well, then.
what if
you
he's gotta
wanna
go
just
back
use
to,
other building department funds to try to pay John for these inspections? Because, no, like we talked, that could be $8,000 or something.
well, it could be 3 inspections, but we just waived the permit fee.
Okay, so the administrative people.
We're just, yeah, the administrative permit.
And the service can just do the inspection.
If they call you out and
Yeah.
they inspect, you gotta go back 3 times because you're
Right.
screwing around.
Right.
That's on them.
Right, okay.
So I'll make a motion to waive the permit fee and leave the inspection fee at
As is.
$75. For
You making
storm
a
for
motion?
storm damage
Mhm.
during the storm,
Until.
Hmm?
Until,
until we declare the emergency over.
okay.
I second.
Which that will have to go through the emergency services, which he tells me, yeah, I have to declare it over.
Well, they could declare it over without everybody
The
not
county-
being
the county
fixed.
level.
The county level, not the state.
But that,
Sarah?
I,
Sorry, if I could just throw in my 2 cents. So I'm not sure if that's really the language you want, because there are going to be electricians to go around in the county. And they are so bombarded. I think that if we limit it to when the emergency lifts.
you're gonna have a lot that aren't fixed.
We're gonna have a lot that aren't fixed, and this is going to be some time until we get completely through all this, so.
Yeah,
I think we call it at the discretion of the building office.
I think if it's just specific to storm damage, that would cover. it.
Yeah, because that's obvious.
And leave it to the discretion of the building official.
Strike that,
Leave it to the discretion of the building official.
being specific. to
We'll be
storm
robbed by
damage.
the neighbor.
Hopefully he's not retired by the time we're done with it.
Go with the second one,
Solid supported your, you made the motion.
Yeah.
She
She
supported
seconded,
it.
supported.
Yeah.
Any more discussion?
Gonna do roll call.
Roll call vote, please.
Libby,
Yes.
Crook.
Yes.
Tolini,
Yes.
Ritzky.
Yep.
Hughes.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Nice to see you.
Good seeing you, Rob.
You too.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Judge Gilner.
All right.
We saved the friendly one for last.
First of all, I just want to say thank you to Mr. Tolini and the board for getting our courthouse back and open, and Mr. Darga as well. As soon as we can, as soon as we could, we were open for business with our normal docket day on Monday. And that was really important for Judge Gothier to keep access to our court open. So thank you all for doing that. And then the other thing that I'm here to talk about really is a different topic than the storm. I have great news. I was before you not too long ago asking for your permission to apply for a status offender, which means incorrigible runaway and truancy, for a grant to provide a new service to those youth at risk for the age of 11 years and older that would come under the family division of the 53rd Circuit, like here in Presque County. So you did give us the permission to submit the grant. We did submit it, and we were one of 5 grants that were awarded.
Really?
So I'm here to tell you that.
Way to go.
Yeah.
We are super excited. This program is called Pathways to Potential, and it will provide a mentor / tutor services for a youth who would be at risk of entering the court process. And that's what all of juvenile justice is all about, is trying to prevent youth who are at low level risk from entering the court process. And so this project was supported by the Title II Juvenile Justice and Delinquency Prevention Grant, which was awarded by the Department of Justice, the Office of Juvenile Justice and Delinquency Prevention, and it will be administered through the Michigan Department of Health and Human Service in collaboration with the State Court Administrative Office. Lots of names, I know, but what it really means is we get to bring $100,000 to our community for, from April 14 through September 30, 2026. And we hope that it becomes a great success and we can sustain it with other funding at that point. But we are super excited to let you know we were awarded. I think there were 9 applicants throughout the state of Michigan. All counties were encouraged to apply. So we get to run it through our 53rd Circuit Court Family Division and offer it to juveniles. And currently, before this, we would only be able to offer it to juveniles who come through the normal law enforcement prosecutor route, but now we get to expand that to hopefully, impact in a positive way, more families and more youth in our community. So we can work with school officials, school success officials, we can work with counselors, we can work with, even a community member could come up to our, window and ask, my, juvenile is struggling in school and needs some help. Can they apply for this program? And we'd be able to take them, and put them in this if they qualify. And so we're really excited to be able to offer that and keep them out of the court system. That's the whole goal.
That's $100,000.
$100,000 for,
And that runs the same, almost the same time as what the prosecutor received for his grant. Too, doesn't it?
I think so.
Yeah.
April to September of 26.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so-
it was following the state budget year.
Yeah,
I think, so.
I would think so too. And then, also that also gives us an opportunity to provide some education during summer when schools are maybe out and they don't have any other resource. So we might be able to get them into doing, it could be an online curriculum or something like that. But we have to work out a lot of details, that's for sure. But the first step is getting approval from the board for Mr. Tolini to sign the contract with the grant. So that's what I'm here for tonight, is to update you, let us know our great success, and then ask for a signature.
We need a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Give a motion to support the sign that grant.
And then it will come to Mr. Tolini on DocuSign. So if you give us the permission for him to sign it when he receives that electronic signature, then we should be all set.
I was gonna ask you where's the copy, but.
I give you a hard copy. just
I
to
see
read
that. I
through
looked on the
it.
back. I see there's no place to sign.
But the,
I've
Yeah.
used DocuSign before, so.
The motion covers document.
okay, good. Thank you.
You have a support.
Yes, Robin.
did.
Excuse me.
Roll call vote, this please.
Commissioner Brooke. Hughes,
Yes.
Tolini,
Yes.
Fritzky,
Yes.
Hughes.
Yes.
Libby.
Yes.
Wonderful.
Carried.
Thank you very much.
Way to go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
1.5.
It's cool.
Okay. Committee reports. We covered the finance.
Right.
Claims on it.
Public health and
How
safety.
about the,
Public health and safety.
we have been sitting in with the grounds department perhaps illegally and listening to the sheriff's department report and the different reports. And hearing that, and now we're going to be superseded to the 10 o'clock position. And I'm wondering if we'll have the same people there at the 10. As you guys, I'm used to hearing Sheriff Brubaker give us great written reports.
And that is where he will come. He won't come to building and grounds anymore.
Okay, I'm glad to
Public
hear
health
that.
and safety.
Public health and safety is where he reports.
Sure.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
Now, when you say I chair that, I do what you've been doing in building and grounds. I just kind of call the meeting to order.
And keep
let me-
notes,
Pardon me?
and keep notes for minutes unless the clerk's office says someone that
We
represents.
always have staff there.
Did you
Okay.
have a meeting this week?
Courthouse and grounds, no.
So I'll be looking forward to the 10 o'clock meeting and I'm the chair and I have to take notes. Thank you.
Nothing to report on that, eh?
Nope.
Okay,
Same with personnel.
so your personnel,
Mhm.
nothing.
We covered him earlier.
Yeah, we just did it.
Yeah, we just covered him earlier.
Special appointment.
I don't have anything.
Michigan Works. The big news at the Michigan Works was they're losing some clawback grant funding. The feds are clawing back about $840,000 grant for fiscal year.
That's for our local office
It's for all the offices.
in the state of Michigan,
No, in our district.
in our district. Thank you.
And I believe state. And as the CEO reported, the Doesn't look like there's gonna be any staff laid off. And they're not happy about it, but they're gonna work through it. They did receive the other grants that came through.
Yeah.
500,000, but. They were quite concerned if it continues on. I mean, it's at the federal level, but it comes from the feds, it goes to the states. Then the state disperses it to Michigan Works, so. But as of now, it's not affecting any of the programs. That was the big
Okay.
discussion for the meeting. 20-minute meeting. Any other reports? Commissioner's comment.
Mr. Chairman, I received a phone call from a citizen a few days ago who returned home from Florida and discovered he's got tremendous tree damage on about 1,000-foot driveway, another 1,000 feet down to the lake. And the simple question is, Mr. Commissioner, what is the government doing to help citizens? And I says, well, I heard that it was declared a disaster area. I heard words about FEMA. I heard that the governor was here visiting. They're trying to get Trump here to visit. And apart from that, I don't know really what to tell you. I suggested he come to the meeting tonight. And maybe, Mr. Chairman, you can tell us where we at as far as citizens who've been really hit, whether they got any chance of getting any compensation.
Sarah can speak. This is
Sarah.
not better
Yeah,
than I can.
okay, so just a little education on this, it's very complex, but so when we have a local and state declaration, that does not mean that we are going to get any funds from anywhere. A presidential declaration, once, if and when we do get that, it then opens it up for public assistance. So what public assistance is for any of our government properties, any of our infrastructure, utilities, water treatment plants, whether it be city, township, county, so any of our county infrastructure. So what that entails then is we go and we do a preliminary assessment on all of our infrastructure across the county, whether we have road washout, bridges that are damaged, roofs that are damaged, and that's only public infrastructure that the county owns or it's a county property. So we do a preliminary assessment to the federal government, the president, and then if they feel that it meets the threshold, then we would get public assistance. So then we take those preliminary numbers and then we have to start getting all the paperwork together. That's a very, very long process. And then we have to prove, we have to take pictures, we have to provide receipts, we have to provide payroll, fringe benefits. We have to prove what we told them, you know, where those figures come from. Individual assistance is what you're referring to for the public, for individual homeowners. This damage, although it was quite catastrophic and it was compared to a Category 5 hurricane, we did not have structural damage to homes as if a hurricane would. We had a whole heck of a lot of damage on trees, and lots of trees down in the roadways, but it has to be your home and it has to be your primary residence. It can't be a secondary residence. And if an individual has homeowner's insurance, it does not apply. So this individual assistance is for the uninsured primary residence, and it does not cover tree cleanup, unfortunately. The only thing I can say is, there is an organization, a national organization called Crisis Cleanup. They are a whole bunch of these nonprofit organizations getting together to help folks from all over the country. If they call 211, they'll get on a list. That information is then sent to Crisis Cleanup and it's prioritized. I will say if I were to try to get on that list, I'm gonna go to the bottom of the list. Because I'm functional, I'm active, I'm fairly healthy, and so I probably would never get assistance. But the 95-year-old woman that is terminally ill on oxygen, lives alone, has no family to help. She lives out in the country on 10 acres and her yard is completely devastated with trees blocking every which way. She is going to bump up that priority list because of everything that she's got working against her. So I have to say, you know, it's a great place to start for folks to get on the list. But right now in our 12 county region, there's 500 and some people on that list. There are 13 on the list for our county, which isn't very many, but the word's getting out, but it is going to be prioritized. And so they're very, very specific on who they're helping.
Thank you, sir.
But, somebody can try their homeowner's insurance. That would be a great place to start. But unfortunately, it's going to be relying on our neighbors and potentially paying somebody to come in and do it. So hopefully that helps.
Thank you.
Any other Christian comments? No, lost something and then, no. And other government officials? Correspondence.
Hey, hang on.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't even see you there.
Thank you for, approving my budget amendment. It's much appreciated. I'm looking forward to the changes that are going to take place with our website. They are deploying a new property alert, program and also a cloud search that will aid, in searching the records. Property alert will be more robust than what we have now, and I'll get into that more as it gets, up and running. Thank you.
Thank you.
She was here.
You were hiding.
Any other government officials?
I was gonna comment on some on the same thing as it relates to storm damage and things. When, this all went down and we couldn't get a hold of each other, I was quite impressed with, the ways we communicated like we used to. And, I look after a neighbor and they look after a neighbor and people are waving as you go by now. And I'm always a positive person, but it was pretty impressive to see the people coming together as people. Been very impressed. Like we used to.
Yeah,
Yep. Pretty cool.
I agree with you. Everybody pushed everything aside and everybody came together to stand and help each other. I was totally impressed with what I saw. And I mean, I went to the store and instead of people just passing by, they'd stop and say, hey, how are you? Did you have any damage? And I was totally impressed by that. People seem to care about each other.
And people at a
And-
local store with
yeah.
a headlamp on, walking you to what you need.
Yes.
That was cool.
Yeah, taking you with a flashlight. Yeah, I was really impressed.
I
by
tell that story to my grandkids.
Yeah, and I don't, as far as I'm concerned, I've told other people before that all things happen for a reason. Sometimes that reason is to change your mind and other times it's to change your heart.
Yeah,
But what I saw in this community totally impressed me for a couple of days.
yeah,
Maybe something like that has to happen.
yep.
Yep,
Any other comments? Any correspondence?
Correspondence, I printed out the one email that was received from Mr. Dees, who was here before, that wasn't able to make it. He just wanted to address the Lake Esau issue again with you. There's a copy of each of that in your
All right, I'll
It's in there.
Okay. Is there a motion for payroll?
Your turn.
Payroll?
Oh, are we to do anything with this letter by Mr. Diggy regarding Lake Esau, discuss it or not, or just to information? We're raising
We can
questions
discuss it.
of this group tonight. And I wonder if we're gonna look at the questions raised tonight.
Until we can hear from the drain commissioner,
The guy that's running it.
we're kind of at a standstill. It
Okay.
goes to the same thing the other two commented on earlier, a lot of the same questions.
but
Yeah, okay.
gotta show up.
He's raising things that the previous board did, and had they had this information or that. I wasn't on the previous board, I have no idea what their rationale was, so I don't feel we can answer that.
I was the only one on the board.
Yeah,
Sorry. We'll have it on file.
okay.
There'll be public meetings on down the road.
Is there a motion? Payroll.
Motion to
Support.
make payroll.
Fellini,
Yes.
Britsky.
Yes.
Hughes.
Yes.
Libby.
Yes.
Yes.
Motion to
Any other
adjourn.
business? There's a motion to adjourn.
No move.
Second.
Support. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carried.
God bless you guys.
It's hard to,
8:20
Sarah, hey,
now.
Bob, don't we have that, hard meeting this coming?
Yes, we have it. Hang on, got it right
Yeah.
here.
Which one?
Sarah?
Hunt,
Can I
you're not
send
on
that?
Hunt.
They're looking for me.
I might drop a dime.
Yeah.
Here.
My understanding. We all know. My roommate over here.